Jim Hedger at the Toronto International Bike Show. I'm sitting with Adam Wagman, senior partner at Howie Saxon Henry, LLP, a law firm that personal injury law firm. And you guys are down here at the bike show to talk about bike safety.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, what we're trying to do is keep people out of accidents so they don't have to call us. In a perfect world, we don't have any work to do because everyone is safe.
In a perfect city, every rider would be safe. Toronto, on the other hand, is far from a perfect city when it comes to riding. What's the biggest complaint you hear, or biggest kind of complaint that your office deals with?
Yeah, so we still seem to have a war between cars and bikes and pedestrians, and there isn't a lot of respect out there, unfortunately. There isn't a lot of awareness, unfortunately. We all know that there's too many people who are on their phone and texting while driving, not paying attention. We know that we see cyclists do it, we see pedestrians do it all the time, and so the number one thing that we'd love to see is respect. Respect cars respecting cyclists, cyclists respecting pedestrians, pedestrians respecting the cars and the bikes, and awareness, right? That's what we really want. When we talk about bike safety, you hear people talk about helmet safety, wearing bright colored clothing. I really look at what I'll call the 4 L's. You got to look. You got to see what's out there. Don't get distracted by a lot of the fun things we've got to look at in Toronto. Look where you're going. Look for heads behind the driver's seats of cars that are parked. Why? Because that driver's going to open their door. And if you see that head there, there's a good chance, but you got to give it more room. Look to see cars with signals on them, because they're not just going to turn right, they're going to turn right in front of you and cut you off. Look to see a pedestrian on their phone who you know is going to walk right out in front of you. So if you look, you can stay safe. You got to listen.
In your experience, are complaints about injury or collisions or injury, are complaints up over previous years?
Yeah, I would say they are. Not claims as between car and car. Those are down a little bit, actually. But the interactions between cars and pedestrians, we've seen this in Toronto. So many pedestrians, not just being hit jaywalking, we used to hear that a fair amount, but being hit in crosswalks on green lights. A driver's making a right-hand turn and they just don't see a pedestrian walking who has the right of way. We see a number of fatalities that are horrific. So sad, and it's so sad because it's so preventable. If drivers just paid a little bit more attention, they would see people crossing the street and we could avoid it. So we do see more negative interactions between cars and pedestrians and cars and cyclists. There's more cyclists on the road. As we develop more bike lanes, we're going to encourage people to get out there, as we should. As a leading city in this world, we need more bikes, we need more mass transportation without cars. But the more we see it, the more interactions we're going to have, and that's not a good thing. We need respect.
If a cyclist or a pedestrian is in a negative interaction with a vehicle, what would you recommend they do? What's the first thing they should be doing?
So assuming that you can, the first thing you need to do is get the information. What a lot of cyclists don't realize, a lot of cyclists don't have cars of their own. They don't have car insurance of their own. But if a car hits them and they need therapy to help get better, they have medical expenses, it's actually the car insurance that will pay for all of those expenses. Except if you don't get the name, if you don't get the license plate number, and if you don't get the insurance information, you've got less recourse. It's much better when you get that information. So you've got to know. So the first answer to your question is, you're on the ground, you've been hit by a car, you think you're okay. Take a picture of their insurance and their driver's license.
And then what? I've got the information. Where should I go with that?
Okay. So, obviously, number one, get medical attention. Right? Number one, whether it's the hospital, a walk-in clinic, or your family doctor, get medical attention, make sure you're okay. Number two, get on the phone with a qualified, specialized personal injury lawyer who can at least walk you through what you need. A lot of people won't have legal claims. They're afraid to call lawyers. They think it's going to be expensive. They think it's going to take years. Most of the time when people call me, I spend half an hour on the phone with them. I tell them what their rights are. I tell them the steps they need to take with an insurance company. And that's it. There's no fee for that. It's something that we're happy to do. It's a service we're happy to provide. And we're happy to share that information with people, because that's the kind of information people really need. What do I do now? You call the insurance company, you get an application for accident benefits, you fill it out, it's pretty simple. You get a referral from your family doctor to go to physiotherapy, to get what you need to get better. The therapists take care of the rest. They fill out the forms, they send it to the insurance company. It's all pretty smooth, as long as you know those original first steps to take. We're happy to provide people with that kind of information.
As a personal injury lawyer, if there was one wish you could have that would make this city safer or your job easier, what would it be?
Yeah, I come back to what I said before, which is respect. I could tell you that I'd love to see more dedicated bike lanes, and by dedicated I mean separated from the cars. There's a huge difference between those bike lanes that are that have barriers between them and the cars, that are dedicated, and those where you see a mix of traffic and cars. I'd love to see people put down their phones when they're on the roadway. Primarily that's cars, but frankly you see it with cyclists and you wonder, like, it's just a matter of time. When I see it, I look at someone riding their bike on their phone, and the first thing I think of is, that's a future client.
Yeah, that gets a cringe.
Right, and it happens with pedestrians too. People are walking out in front of cars, looking down at their phone, and it's just an absolute epidemic in our society. Well, I'd love to see people taking a little more time to look around and smell the roses. The reality is, when it comes to safety, pay attention. So that's what I'd like to see.
Adam Wagman, senior partner at Howie Saxon Henry LLP. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much for your time, Jim. We really appreciate it.
Cheers.
Thanks.